I had a background in public speaking in high school. I was on the debate team and I was very active and competitive. And as I started listening to people delivering the sermon, I realized that they had a lot of knowledge to offer, they had a lot of information, but there were a lot of shortcomings in delivery technique, a lot of shortcomings in basic speech writing, argumentation, things of that nature where a little bit of sophistication would help the message go a lot farther. And so I thought that since I had some of that background that I would start speaking as well. And as I did that, I realized that I also had shortcomings on the knowledge end of it, where I didn't know the religion as well. You know, aside from imparting information, but to actually move them to positive change so they help create a positive impact in the community.
Its inception was something really simple, very organic, very natural. I myself not only have a formal background in Islamic knowledge and Islamic studies, but I was also trained and mentored by my teachers on how to present and speak about Islam. When I naturally came back to my community, I realized that one person is not enough to quote unquote save the world, right? You can't even save a community by yourself. So I started teaching and training and mentoring individuals who could start now delivering the sermon and speaking. After training about a dozen or so individuals, it was brought to my attention that the same need is present in so many other Muslim communities across the country. That is when I basically formalized this workshop and created an entire program and institutionalized it. And now for about 6 years, we've had about 100 people every year coming to get trained on how to speak and preach.
The first one was interesting because there was not one that we were aware of. We had seen people conduct a little bit of training here and there, but nothing that was institutionalized, nothing that had a formal curriculum from front to end. So the first one, we were really flying blind. We had to sit down and figure out what are the things that we wish we knew 5 years ago? What did we wish someone had told us when we started out? And so based on that, we started crafting the curriculum slowly. And then after conducting it 3, 4, 5 times, we really started to refine it and formalize it.
What we do essentially by means of this is we are able to train the people that are sermonizing, that are delivering the sermons within hundreds of communities across the country. So it is a very impactful program.
Friday sermon is a week-to-week thing. Now you're not going to have a Martin Luther King moment, but what we teach our students is to harness the power of incremental change. That you're not going to change the world every week, because if you do, then that becomes mundane. But what you can do every week is you can sow the seed of inspiration. That every Friday, they're going to get just a little bit that helps them come closer to worshiping their Lord. It's analogous to when there's a dark room. If one person holds up a flashlight or a lighter or their cell phone, it gives off a little bit of light. But over time, if I see someone else holding up their light and I say, hey, that's a good idea, and I hold it up, and then everyone holds up the light, then the entire room becomes illuminated. So we're harnessing that power of week to week. We want to make sure that we're getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and over time, we'll start chipping away at a lot of those major problems.
Whatever type of unrest and turmoil there is somewhere in the world that does have a connection to Muslims in America, maybe just by virtue of the fact that Muslims are involved with it halfway across the world, there's a threefold thing. Number one is, I always tell them it's an opportunity to educate yourself on the issue. Number two is that for us as Muslims, it's a very important opportunity for us to reaffirm ourselves within our own faith and what we believe to be sacred, holy practices of Islam. We don't think beheading people and killing people and blowing up people is a sacred, holy practice. But we do believe that giving charity and praying and taking care of your family and being good to your neighbor and cleaning up your street, we do think that that is a religious, holy activity. So I tell them, reorient yourself, ground yourself in what you believe to be a spiritual practice. And thirdly and finally, to go out there and to advocate and to educate people on what is right and what is appropriate. So basically spread the proper knowledge and proper information.